The Third Parent Academy and All About the Toddlers presents Read, Read, and Reread Summer Reading Program. Today, we will be reading 10 Tiny Toes by Todd, Tarpley, illustrated by Mark Brown. Into the world came 10 tiny toes, 100 times sweeter than one could suppose. Toes that were little and tender and tasty, toes more delicious than cinnamon pastry. Toes you could nuzzle and nibble in bliss, toes you could patty cake into a kiss. They were rocked, they were swung, they were kissed from above. They were covered in bubbles and smothered with love, and nothing on earth you could even suppose could be loved half as much as those 10 tiny toes. They kicked and they crawled, they dangled and danced, they wiggled and wriggled, they preened and they pranced. And one day, those 10 tiny toes tried a test. 5 toes took a step out ahead of the rest. Then the other 5 followed and stepped out on their own. And those 10 tiny toes were now walking alone. And soon they were hopping and bopping and bumping. And then they were running and skipping and jumping. And as they got older, their confidence grew. They learned to do things that small toes couldn't do. They tricked and they treated, those tiny toes did. They pushed and they pedaled. They skated, they slid. Someday, when those 10 tiny toes are all grown, happily raising 10 toes of their own, perhaps they'll remember back when they were small, before they could toddle or waddle or crawl. They'll think of the kisses that made them feel strong. They'll take all those kisses and pass them along. But nothing on earth you could even suppose can ever be loved quite like 10 tiny toes. The end. We hope you have enjoyed 10 Tiny Toes by Todd Tarpley, illustrated by Mark Brown. Thanks for joining us. That's all we have for you today. We'll read with you again soon.